What is up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. I have a really cool video, and the reason that I think it's so cool is because it's actually one of your guys' suggestions. So recently someone hit me up on Twitter and said, hey John, I would love for you to make a video about the first 2 weeks that you were losing weight. You know, what was your first 2 weeks like? And a lot of people were like, yeah, you should do that video, you should do that video. So that's what today's video is gonna be. Before I talk about the first 2 weeks of weight loss, I do kind of want to talk about, you know, what was going on in my life, what was my life like right before I started to lose weight. So at the time, I was 20 years old and I was working at Van's shoe store. Basically what I did was, you know, I would stand on the floor, people would come into the store and I would, you know, get shoes for them. But the thing is at the store that I was working at, there was big racks in the back that you had to climb up ladders to get. And I remember I would be at work sweating all the time. I was always sweaty. I had to bring a rag with me to work because if I didn't, I would bring people's shoes out and literally drip sweat on the shoes. It was disgusting. But I remember at the time, I just felt so trapped. I felt like there was nothing that I was gonna be able to do. Cause like for me, I went to college for a year, and I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't go to college, but for me, it didn't work out. Like I'm not good in a classroom like that. So I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm working this job at Van's shoe store. It's, you know, it's basically a minimum wage job. College didn't work out for me, and you know, at the time when I was, you know, so heavy and like I had never done anything real with my life, like I had never really like gotten an idea and just stuck with it and felt like I was able to accomplish anything. So my, you know, my self-worth and how much I believed in myself was really low at the time too. So even if I did want to go back to school, I just didn't believe in myself, basically. I just pretty much felt trapped. Like I was working that job and that's pretty much all I did. Like that's what I did with my time. And I remember I loved playing drums. I still love playing drums. And I remember I would think to myself, like that was my goal, was to be a drummer, to play drums in a band or be a studio musician. Like that was my dream that I had as I was, you know, going through all of this. So that was kind of the thing that would motivate me to even go to work and motivate me to even, you know, do the things that I had to do. But at the same time, I was still like, I didn't know what I needed to do to make that dream a reality. So I pretty much was just, you know, spinning in a wheel, not really moving forward at all. Let's fast forward to the night that I decided to lose weight. So basically I had been binge watching Miami Ink, which is a TV show about tattoos. I've told this story a couple times, but I had been binge watching it for a few weeks, and there was an episode where a guy came on the show, and obviously as I'm watching this, I'm thinking to myself, because I had only the tattoos that I have on my forearms, okay? And I was thinking to myself, I would love to get tattoos in other spots. I would love to get tattoos in other parts of my body, but I was I mean, basically I was too ashamed to get them anywhere because I knew I wouldn't ever show them. And even the thought of like taking my shirt off in a tattoo parlor and getting a tattoo in a spot that I was nervous about, it just was never gonna happen, right? So that was going through my head as I was watching the show. But a guy came on one of the episodes that had lost a lot of weight, and basically he was getting a tattoo to commemorate the weight loss, right? And they asked him the question, you know, how'd you lose the weight? Why'd you lose the weight? And honestly, I don't even exactly remember what he said, but pretty much what I started thinking was like, this is my decision that I'm making. You know, I'm 20 years old now, I have a job, so I'm the one that's deciding to eat the food that I'm eating. I'm the one that's deciding to not ever work out and never go to the gym and never really leave my room. So I remember this feeling of just like excitement kind of just really welled up in me. And at the time I was eating Panda Express. I had a double entree plate, orange chicken and chow mein. So I finished that and a large soda. And I remember, but I fell asleep excited and like really excited to wake up the next day. And when I say that was the first time that happened in a really long time, like I really mean it. I was so excited for, you know, the next day because I knew I'm gonna start this weight loss journey. This is the first time that I had ever decided that I was going to lose weight, and there was nobody else like trying to help me. There was no family friend. There was nobody that was like, you know, motivating me or saying, if you lose weight, we'll do this, or, you know, I'll do this for you if you lose the weight. It was all just my decision. And I remember I wake up and then I go to Vaughn's, which is a grocery store here, and I buy a sandwich, and because I didn't know what else to buy, I got a haircut, I bought a water, and I just remember thinking to myself, this is it. I'm going to start. So that's the first day, and I've told that story before. Obviously, I've talked about that before on the channel, but I remember that day I told my mom and my family that, you know, I'm serious about losing weight this time. Like, I really want to make this happen for myself. I really want to do this. And that was something that I had never done before. I was always, when I would try and lose weight before, I was always very kind of, I didn't want people to know, because like you guys know how it is. When you try and lose weight a bunch of times, people start to, you know, they feel like you're crying wolf. You say that you want to lose weight, you go on your diet for a little bit, you fall off the wagon, and then you have to deal with people being like, oh, why are you drinking that soda? Why are you eating that food? I thought you were on a diet. who wants to deal with that, right? So normally I would try, not tell anybody, I would fail, but at the same time, nobody knew that I was even really trying. So the embarrassment was a lot lower. A point that I really wanted to make was when I first started losing weight, I had this, epiphany moment, or this click moment that I call it. I wasn't sitting and doing a bunch of research on what I need to be doing, what I need to be eating, all of the, all the diets I should be going on, all of the things that I should be doing. I just started. And I've noticed with a lot of people, they freak out and they, there's the saying, paralysis by analysis. You freak out because you do a bunch of research before you even start. And what I want to say is, like, if you are first starting your weight loss journey, just start. Like, that is the most important thing. And like what I did when I first started with my diet, which is obviously, the most important thing, and I got really, it really is lucky when I look back on it. When I first started losing weight, I didn't have money to go to a gym. I didn't have money to get a gym membership. I was just working that one job, so I couldn't go to the gym. That wasn't gonna happen. So I told myself, okay, I'm going to, watch what I eat. That's gonna be the first thing that I do. But with that being said, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I was that kid, I was that person that a normal lunch, you guys, this was a normal lunch for me, was 2 McDoubles, 2 McChickens, a large fry, and a large drink at McDonald's. Like, that's what I ate. That was totally normal for me. So when I first decided to lose weight, what I did was I just cut, what I call it is the common sense diet. I cut out things that you just know are not good for you. So I cut out soda, and I drank a lot of soda, you guys. A lot of soda. I would drink, like, so if you guys know, in 7-Eleven or like AM/PM here in America, they have these things called double gulps, or like a 64 ounce of soda. That's what I would drink with like a snack or with like lunch. So that was just one thing of soda. I was drinking more than that, so I drank at least probably a 2 liter of soda every single day. That's a lot of calories. So that was, I would cut that out. Basically what I did was I cut out soda, cut out junk food, like snacks, you know what I mean, like chips and candy bars, because that's what I ate, I would cut that out, and then I cut out fast food. And for me, that was a big thing. That helped me a lot, because that's basically all I ate. And when I first started losing weight, I didn't know how to cook anything, like at all. The only thing I knew how to make was cereal. Like, that's all I just didn't cook ever. That's just not what I did. So what I would do is I would go to Vons and I would buy sandwiches, like pre-made sandwiches, and I used to eat 2 of them for a meal. And I remember people would be like, well, you shouldn't be eating that if you're trying to lose weight. Like, that's not the right thing that you should be doing. But what I would think in my head was, this is better than what I used to do. And that's kind of how I did my first 2 weeks of weight loss, was if this is better than how it used to be, then I'm gonna see results. And that's what happened, Like, was it the perfect diet that I was on? Absolutely not. Did I know what I was doing? Not really. But I still saw results, because the way that I used to eat, being 360 pounds, was an insane amount of food, and really, pretty much everything was just bad for me. So just switching things out, and maybe no, it wasn't perfect, eating 2 sandwiches for a lunch, a lot of people would say that's probably not the best idea, but for me, it was so much better than what I was doing before that I still saw results. Another super simple thing that I did was literally just actually add fruit into my diet, because before, I ate no fruit at all, so I just would add like an apple and other things like that, and that actually helped a lot as well. Like I said earlier, my routine in the gym, because a lot of people would ask me, what'd you do when you first started losing weight? Like, what were you doing in the gym? There was no routine. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't step foot into a gym until a few months into my journey. And that's something that I think is important as well. Like, something that I always say is, fitness happens in the gym, weight loss happens in the kitchen. And if you're trying to lose weight, and if that is your main priority, like that's the thing that you're like, okay, that's what I want to focus on, I always say, like, you need to be focused on your nutrition before the gym. Now, is it good to go to the gym? Absolutely. I wish I would have started going to the gym in the beginning, but at the same time, I learned that my nutrition, what I'm eating, is so much more important when it comes to just strictly weight loss than whatever you're doing in the gym. So as you guys can tell, in my first 2 weeks and even longer in my weight loss, there's nothing earth-shattering happening. I wasn't doing anything crazy, and that's kind of why I was a little bit like, I don't know if I want to film this video or, talk about this, because I feel like I'm not going to be able to give them like a great tip. But then I really thought about it, and it really just kind of made sense to me. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a complete beginner when you're first starting to lose weight. Like, there's nothing wrong with not knowing what you're doing right at the beginning. And a lot of people they overthink before they even start. So like, the tip that I can give you is just start, Make those simple, super simple changes that like obvious, but that you can actually stick to for the first 2 weeks, and you'll see results. And like for me, that's what happened. I made no super crazy changes, you know, very obvious things that I should be taking out of my diet. I saw results, and seeing results is what made me stick to it, and you know, it's been 4 years now. But again, you know, the point that I want to drive home is there is nothing wrong with being a complete beginner when you start. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be in an encyclopedia of weight loss when you first start trying to lose weight. Start out, just give it a shot, and over time, try and learn every single day. Try and pick up little things every single day, and over time, you'll be where you want to be. So that's gonna be the video today, you guys. Like I said, I know there's nothing like earth-shattering in this video, but if this video does anything, I hope it helps out that person that might be thinking about losing weight and they think like, wow, I am so lost and I have no idea what I'm doing. Like this is, I feel like I need to know more before I start. Just trust me, like there's nothing wrong with feeling completely lost and feeling like there's so much to learn, because that's exactly how I was at the very beginning of my journey. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you have any ideas for videos that I could talk about, leave them down in the comment section or hit me up on Twitter. I would love that. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.